Good evening, and welcome to the Connecticut Department of Transportation's pre-construction public information meeting for project number 102-295, median reconstruction and resurfacing of I-95 in Norwalk and Westport. My name is Brett Stark, and I'm a senior project manager for BL Companies working on behalf of the Connecticut Department of Transportation. Project 102-295 generally encompasses an approximate 2-mile stretch of I-95 in Norwalk and Westport. It begins at the eastern edge of the Norwalk River, which is located just west of Interchange 16, and continues to the eastern edge of the Saugatuck River, encompassing the bridge carrying I-95 over the Saugatuck River. Within the project corridor are a number of existing structures. There are currently existing construction projects that are ongoing regarding the I-95 bridge over the Norwalk River, also known as the Yankee Doodle Bridge, and the bridge that carries Strawberry Hill Avenue over I-95. The next two slides make use of some Google Maps imagery for the purpose of establishing a frame of reference for some of the topics that will be discussed later on in the presentation. In this case, we have Interchange 16 in Norwalk. Please note Hendricks Avenue, which is located north of I-95 and crosses under the Yankee Doodle Bridge on the left side of the screen. We also have the Hendricks Avenue commuter parking lot in the I-95 Interchange 16 northbound on-ramp. Regarding purpose and need, Project 102-295 can be considered a safety improvements project. The work that we are proposing will enhance the safety of the corridor for motorists and commuters, maintain this corridor in a state of good repair, and be consistent with other previous construction projects throughout the I-95 corridor. I would like to note that Project 102-295 does not include any new or additional lanes or other provisions to increase the overall capacity of I-95 at this location. So let's talk about what this project entails. In keeping with its designation as a safety improvements project, this stretch of I-95 will be upgraded to meet present-day design standards. This includes wider inside and outside shoulders, along with the installation of a new concrete median. A new illumination system will be constructed as part of the new median, and the existing guide rail throughout the corridor will be replaced. We also will be extending the Interchange 16 northbound on-ramp, as I will detail in a few moments. Also, the existing concrete pavement base will be exposed and repaired as needed, and the entire corridor, inclusive of all ramps, will be repaved. If you have ever been traveling I-95 in the vicinity of Interchange 16 during a heavy rainstorm, you may have noted the tendency of water to pond up in the outside shoulder. This is due to the existing highway drainage system in this area being undersized. As part of Project 102-295, not only will we be replacing some of the existing drainage pipe, we will also be installing a supplemental system to ensure that the flooding of the highway no longer occurs. In conjunction therewith, and in compliance with the state's MS4 permit requirements, we will also be installing some water quality measures to treat the stormwater before it is discharged into the Norwalk River. Bridge-wise, as noted previously, we will also be fully replacing Bridge 62 over Saugatuck Avenue. In addition, we will be undertaking maintenance repairs to Bridge 63, which is over Franklin Street, and Bridge 64 over the Saugatuck River. The purpose of this slide is to illustrate the existing conditions within the project corridor. Please note the existing grass median and minimal width of the interior shoulders. By comparison, this photograph, which was taken in Greenwich, is representative of the proposed condition, specifically the center concrete median and the wider interior shoulders. The existing Interchange 16 northbound on-ramp is an old taper-type ramp that currently only provides approximately 100 feet to merge into I-95 northbound. This means that as drivers accelerate along the ramp from East Avenue, they suddenly find themselves faced with the need to determine if they can safely merge or need to stop and wait for the through lane to clear. As you can imagine, this condition has precipitated a number of crashes over the years. In an effort to address this issue, as part of Project 102-295, the on-ramp will be extended to provide a modern parallel type ramp with approximately 1,050 feet of merge length. This meets current design standards and will provide drivers with greater time and opportunity to make the merge into I-95. This graphic includes work to be performed in the vicinity of Hendricks Avenue and Interchange 16. The supplemental I-95 drainage mentioned earlier is highlighted in blue, while the existing drainage system is represented by the non-highlighted black lines. As depicted, the new drainage system includes the installation of a new underground infiltration system beneath the Hendricks Avenue commuter parking lot, which itself is being reconstructed and expanded as part of Project 102-295. After passing through the infiltration system, water will be conveyed in a new vegetated swale, represented by the green, that runs parallel to Hendricks Avenue and under the Yankee Doodle Bridge. A new pipe will be installed under Hendricks Avenue and tie into the existing outlet into the Norwalk River, which will be reconstructed. Shown in orange is a segment of the City of Norwalk's Yankee Doodle Trail. Per an agreement with the city, the state's contractor will construct this segment of the trail in conjunction with the rest of the work along Hendricks Avenue. The city has agreed to reimburse the state for this effort, the cost of which is currently estimated at approximately $200,000. At this point, I will be switching to a discussion of construction operations and their associated impacts. We'll begin with Hendricks Avenue. During the construction of the drainage improvements and portion of the Yankee Doodle Trail as shown previously, the contractor shall be required to maintain one lane of traffic in both directions during peak travel periods. During off-peak periods, he will be allowed to establish an alternating one-way traffic operation. Regarding the reconstruction of the commuter parking lot, the contractor will be allowed to reduce its existing capacity. The reconstruction is expected to be completed in 3 stages, with approximately 18 to 25 spaces available during each stage. Moving on to I-95, while undertaking the median reconstruction, shoulder widening, and other activities as previously mentioned, the contractor will be required to maintain the existing number of lanes in each direction during peak periods. While the existing 3 through lanes will be maintained, the width of said lanes and shoulders will be reduced, and lane shifts will be implemented as necessary when entering or exiting the work zone. During off-peak periods, the contractor will be allowed to temporarily reduce the number of available lanes as permitted in the contract documents. During overnight periods, the contractor will be allowed to temporarily close existing ramps and will also be allowed to halt traffic flow for short durations in order to facilitate completion of specifically designated work operations. This graphic serves to illustrate what I described on the previous slide. Stage 1 depicts the existing 3 through lanes and outside shoulders for both directions of I-95. In Stage 2, the width of the through lanes is reduced and they are shifted to the outside to allow for the reconstruction of the median. In Stage 3, once the new median is constructed, the travel lanes are shifted to the inside while work is completed on the outer portions of the travelway. It is recognized that when construction begins, 102-295 will be one of several ongoing or planned projects within this region of the state, including continued work along the Merritt Parkway and the various construction activities associated with the replacement of the Walk Bridge. To this extent, DOT has coordinated various projects within the Norwalk Westport region to understand and mitigate potential traffic impacts, mobility requirements, and safety needs. This level of coordination, both internal and external, will continue during the construction phase of 102-295. To summarize the design status, as of the night of this presentation, June 3rd, 2021, all construction documents have been finalized, all utility coordination is complete, and all required permits and rights-of-way have been acquired. The project is being prepared for advertising. The current project schedule anticipates that the project will be advertised and bid this summer, and that construction will begin either late this year or early next year. The overall duration of this project is approximately 3 seasons, so we expect it to conclude by fall of 2024. The construction cost based on the final design is estimated to be $98 million. That amount is funded 90% by federal funds and 10% through the state. The Yankee Doodle Trail segment, which was talked about earlier, is being paid for by the city of Norwalk and costs approximately $200,000.
Good evening, everyone. That concludes the presentation portion of tonight's event. My name is Dominic Celtruda. I'm a consultant liaison engineer with BL Companies on behalf of the Connecticut Department of Transportation. I'm going to begin with the first question. Why are new shoulder widths so wide? I believe that will be handled by Brett Stark, BL Companies liaison engineer.
Yes, so in response to the question about the proposed shoulder widths, again, as noted, this project is a safety improvement project. The proposed 12-foot shoulder widths are consistent with current DOT and federal design standards. part of that width determination, that standard determination, is based on the volume of truck traffic in this area.
Thank you for that response, Mr. Stark. We have a second question coming up from East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. The Yankee Doodle Bridge project will be 2 years behind schedule when completed. What steps are you taking to mitigate time and not have a cost overrun? I think this will be handled by a Connecticut Department of Transportation representative.
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is John Delaberto, supervising engineer for District 3 construction. Yeah, the Yankee Doodle Bridge project is a unique one. The nature of the project led to the delays where it is a steel rehabilitation, much of the work in a deck repair project. And we really didn't know the nature of the deterioration until the contractor got in there and removed some of the rust. And once they did so, we found that the section loss on the steel was much greater than anticipated and really could not have been known ahead of time without removing that rust. And that led to really a complete redesign of the repairs. And likewise on the deck, the latex modified concrete on the deck, which is not common, led to the patching being more difficult to make those patches long-term, and also continuous deterioration throughout the deck that we kept finding new areas that were unexpected. So in relation to this project, the nature of that work is not expected here. It's a little more known. Our designers are taking every step possible to anticipate all aspects of the work. But Yankee Doodles is a rare case, and the nature of that work does lend itself to more delays.
See another question that came in. This is from East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. So East Norwalk still won't be getting sound barriers. I believe that'll be handled by Mr. Stark.
Hi, Dom. Yes, thank you again. Yes, as noted in the presentation, this project does not meet the criteria for sound barriers from a federal standpoint to obtain the federal funds. And again, to repeat what I said earlier, to utilize state funds to construct new noise barriers in a new location, that would take an act of the legislature to go in that direction.
Thank you. Again, that was Brett Stark, BL Companies liaison engineer with the Connecticut Department of Transportation. I think we'll move right into the next question from the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. Where are property takings? I believe we're going to be hearing from Jeff Keefe from AECOM on this question.
Thanks, Tom. I'm Jeff Keefe from AECOM. On this project, we have 2 temporary construction easement takes, both on the east side of Saugatuck Avenue. The 2 properties are one immediately north of the highway right-of-way line, and the second one is immediately south of the highway right-of-way line, just north of Charles Street. And those 2 construction easements will be extinguished once the property or once the work is completed.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Looking on the Q&A now, I see that we got another question coming in. Says this time frame conflicts with Walk Bridge and East Avenue reconstruction in East Norwalk. Detours off of exit 16 will create gridlock. Lane closures will result in cars and trucks cutting through Route 136 to Westport. This note came in from the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association as well. And I'm going to leave it up to the design team to answer this. Please state your name and title.
Hi, Dom. This is Brett Stark again. Yes, again, we do recognize, as noted in the presentation, that there will be multiple construction projects occurring at the same time here. When it comes time to undertake the lateral slide weekends, that work will be, publicized and coordinated extensively in advance to ensure that, there are no simultaneous, full closures or major activities that are going on that would create the extensive gridlock. Again, regarding the detours here, what we have planned is that detours during the lateral slide period will be signed for use of exit 16, or excuse me, exit 18, the Sherwood Island connector, and that would also apply for the closure period for the northbound on-ramp at Interchange 17. Other than that, it's hard to control what local folks may wish to do during these periods. But as noted, we will be, seeking to use expanded, state and local police officers at key intersections to assist in mitigation where possible.
Thank you for that response, Brett.
Brett, I'd just like to add, this is Jeff Keefe with ACOM. The specific work on the ramps where detours are required for the other ramps, those would be off-peak hours and would be reopened during the peak hour operations.
Thank you for chiming in on that as well, Jeff. Next question coming in is, since the project is approved, funded, and ready for summer bids, is there any opportunity to postpone it until after all East Norwalk projects are complete? Go ahead, Brett.
Okay, thank you, Dom. Again, Brett Stark. I'm going to say at this point in time, we would not be looking to postpone this project. We do have environmental permits that have, expiration dates attached to those, and we want to make sure we're moving forward. This job has been around a long time. Also, I would just add that, I can't speak to exactly the term for the East Norwalk projects related to the Walk Bridge, but again, we would look to coordinate to the best degree possible here. But I think we do want to, move forward with this project at this time.
We want to know prior to bid awards exactly where construction staging will be for equipment, materials, and employee vehicles. I believe the staging is going to be answered by one of the DOT representatives. Please state your name and title.
Yes, thank you, Dominic. This is John Delaberto again, supervising engineer with District 2 construction team, or 3 rather. Yeah, so unfortunately, it's extremely difficult to map out the staging areas ahead of time. There are quite a few areas available within the state right away, in the ramps and on the side of the highways. We do anticipate the contractor to use those. Another option they have is to seek out agreements with private and public property owners on their own, but they're not able to do that without permission. And with staging areas they use really heavily depends on the equipment that they choose to use and the sequence of operations, the materials. If they decide to order them early and stage them early, they'll need more space if they buy a lot of the materials early. So unfortunately, prior to award and working with the contractor to understand their plan, it's really not possible to delineate all staging areas. And if we did, it would almost certainly change because the contractor often requests additional or different areas depending on their specific means to construct the project.
Thank you very much for that response. I see another question has come up. We're going to go to it right now. This comes from the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. We want to know prior to bid awards. I think we are on that one. We are planning for, and I apologize, I'm reading ahead. What are you planning for noise attenuation during overnight construction? People need to sleep regardless of decibel standards. And I think we're going to Rob Nowak on that with the Department of Transportation.
Thanks, Dominic. My name is Robert Nowak. I'm the construction project engineer on the project. Regarding the noise, we are all aware that we want to get a good night's sleep. We're no different than anyone in the neighborhoods surrounding the project. As you know, construction comes with a lot of noise, as there's a lot of noise on the highway itself. Typically, we like to, most all the equipment comes with some kind of muffler system. Obviously, there's activities that require some modification in a short durational period of time. If there's a complaint regarding the noise, my staff, when it comes on board, will field the complaint. The procedure is to obviously check out the complaint with a noise meter and realize what the noise is at that location. If it does hit the 90 decibels or in that close proximity, we're going to modify our operations to minimize the amount of noise at that location that the noise is being read from the meter. The contractor is aware of the requirements necessary to maintain a noise level of less than 90 decibels, and we'll make every effort to accommodate for all the residents in the area. Thanks, Dominic.
Thank you very much for that response. Next question that I see popping up right now is another noise. Why it comes from the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. Why can't state funds be used to finally install sound barriers for the missing highway portion in Norwalk? I believe that's going to Mr. Brett Stark.
Yes, Dom, I'll get that one too. And if you could just add the one below that as well here, I'll answer both in.
Yes, I will. Second part to that question, I'll reiterate the first part and I'll add the second part in right now. Why can't state funds be used to finally install sound barriers for the missing highway portion in Norwalk? Second part, same person, East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. So did the Department of Transportation actually request the state funds for barriers? They can't allocate if you don't ask.
Okay, thank you. Again, this is Brett Stark. As I noted in the earlier response and during the presentation, the allocation of state funds for new noise barriers in a new location requires an act by the state legislature. I further understand that the way it works is that a local legislator has to be the one to initiate the request. It's not a matter of DOT requesting the funds.
Thank you for the response on that question, or double question, Brett. Appreciate that. We've got another question coming in right now from the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. Is the Department of Transportation still considering a diverging diamond interchange for exit 16? I believe Andy Fessemeyer from the State the Department of Transportation is going to address this. Andy?
Yeah, thanks, Dom. Yeah, this is Andy Fessemeyer from the DOT. Regarding exit 16, I think there's a project right now, 102-331, and right now it's in the concept stage. I believe everything is on the table still, including the diverging diamond. It's early on. The contact person there, and I don't know if we can, if there's maybe Justine will type it into here, is Matt Vale, and his email is Matthew. It's MATTHEW.Vail, VAIL @CT.gov. That would be the best person to contact. He's managing that project for Interchange 16.
Back to another question on the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. We're going back to staging again. Contractor agreements with private property owners can and do negatively impact residential abutters. Can you make it mandatory that the DOT must approve all staging agreements prior to signing? I believe those agreements. I believe that's contractor staging. I'm going to leave that up to the group to decide. State your name and title when you're answering the response.
Yeah, thank you, Dominic. This is John Deliberto again with the construction team. And yeah, if the contractor is operating in accordance with all local and state regulations and the property owner does agree for them to use their property and there's no environmental restrictions, unfortunately, we don't really have a say that I'm aware of. We do require the contractor to furnish the written agreement to us. However, with that said, if from the community there's complaints or reasons why there's an issue with the contractor staging area, we will work with the community and the contractor to see if we can find an alternate area, maybe put up some fencing, try to alter the contractor's hours of operations if possible and feasible, in order to accommodate those hardships that the community is facing. So, yeah, we have to stick with what the regulations are and really the contractor's agreement with a private property owner. If we restrict that, we may have to, pay for any costs that are involved with that restriction. And we could look at that if the hardships are enough. So yeah, if anything comes up where the contractor's activities are negatively impacting the community, please reach out to the project team and we'll do what we can to mitigate those.
Thank you very much. The next question comes from the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. The comment is 90 decibels is way too loud, especially in winter when there is reduced foliage and humidity. I believe we're going to go to Bob Nowak with the Connecticut Department of Transportation.
Thanks, Dom. Again, appreciate it. Bob Nowak, Construction Project Manager. Typically in the winter for construction, it runs, the project does have a winter shutdown period, so there's no real major anticipated construction activity through the winter, which is December 1st through March 31st. Now again, late fall, early spring, there's no foliage and we understand that. But the major generators of noise on this project is more for the weekend demolition of Bridge 62. The noise that you can anticipate throughout the project duration would be banging at tailgates, heavy equipment at some point in time isolated to the highway work, right? There's not a lot of heavy banging as was attributed to the Strawberry Hill project, which really there really wasn't on that project either. So we're not really anticipating a level of noise that would be typical on any bridge removal project where you have whole rams making all this noise. We don't anticipate any of that type of noise that's going to hit anywhere near the 90 decibels on the project. And again, we'll take measures to reduce that if it comes to fruition. So I don't anticipate there'd be a problem. But again, as the project unfolds, the public information, public outreach will have all the contact information necessary to reach the project staff to address any of your particular needs throughout the duration of the 3-year project. Thank you.
Thank you for that explanation. Another question from the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. Off-peak closures will coincide with heavy overnight traffic. Will trucks be required to use only US Route 1? I believe that question is going to be handled by Jeff Keefe from AECOM.
Thanks, Dom. This is Jeff Keefe from AECOM. During the I-95 construction, the lane closures on I-95 will be done primarily with lane closures and no detours are needed. For the specific ramp work, the ramps at Interchange 17 will be routed to Sherwood Island Extension, exit 18, up over Route 1 and then down Route 33. For the 16 ramp closures, which also will be off-peak and reopened during the peak hours, the planned detour routes there would be south on East Avenue to Route 136 and then over to exit, Interchange 17.
Jeff, can you confirm that? I believe I thought, sorry, that for Interchange 16 ramp closures, we were sending folks down to the Route 1 exit in Norwalk.
Actually, I think you're right. I think that was changed. So we're using the exit 16 interchange.
This is Andy Fessenmeyer from Project Manager DOT. I just wanted to add an important note, and it was in the presentation. Brett talked about it a little bit. Is a big part of this project, like other big highway projects in the state, is going to be the messaging and the public outreach that we're going to do. And we're going to be messaging to traffic and especially trucks way outside of these project limits. They're going to be aware to stay away from this area. So especially the trucks who are long hauling through this area, they're going to be directed far before they ever get here. And if they're going to New York, they're going to be able to take 84. They're going to be able to take other routes. And we've seen on other projects that the numbers of the traffic really does go down, and the trucks really do, because they don't want to be there. So, and we're also from the south going to be messaging way south of here for the trucks going beyond Hartford and to the north. And so, there is going to be some detouring, but we're really optimistic that that a lot of traffic is going to avoid the area, and that's an important thing. And Brett, or I don't know, Brett, if you know kind of the limits of where we're reaching out to, where these guys are going to first start seeing signs to stay away from here, how far away that might be. Does anybody know that?
I don't know if we've nailed it down exactly at this point in time, Andy, but
Okay.
I believe we were talking minimally New York and New Jersey and potentially also Pennsylvania. Maybe one of the district guys can weigh in.
Sure, yeah, thank you. So this is John Diliberto with the construction team, and we are hiring a professional public relations firm for this outreach effort. Based on past experiences with similar type of traffic impacts, we do reach out to neighboring states, New York, even New Jersey, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. I wouldn't imagine going much further than that. Especially for the major closure, we would have those states run messages on their message boards to notify of traffic and the closure weekends. So I would say as far south as New York and New Jersey, I wouldn't anticipate going further than that.
I'm going to take another question now from the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. Why is I-95 being reconstructed under the East Avenue Bridge number 60 when the entire bridge structure may need to be reconstructed? Apologies. I believe we're going to be handling that through Brett Stark, and also a little assist from Jeff Keefe.
Thank you, Dom. Yes, I'll start this again. This is Brett Stark with BL Companies. Yes, regarding the need to reconstruct I-95 underneath the East Avenue Bridge, the goal of this project is to tie into the work being done on the Yankee Doodle Bridge. Again, this will be geared towards the median reconstruction. I should note that regarding bridge number 60, we did obtain a design exception for the shoulder work there, so we will be recognizing that there may be a planned future project there. The work that we're going to do is going to be really focused on the limits of the highway that we can affect within the project or within that area. The resurfacing, some drainage improvements, etc. But realistically, again, kind of what Andy was alluding to a few moments ago there, the work that we're doing is, we'll maintain that the highway through this area in a state of good repair, even up until such time that any project for Interchange 16 is undertaken.
This is a comment only. This is not a question. I'm going to read it because we do take the comments here. It says environmental justice advocates might suggest East Norwalk not being treated fairly. Darien and Greenwich both got sound barriers and without additional capacity as far as we know. In fact, Darien even got replacement sound barriers, and in some areas they have double runs of barriers. Seems Norwalk is being neglected again by DOT and our state legislators. And that was a comment only. There's just a strict comment in terms of that one. Looking at the next, we've noted that comment. It's been put into the Q&A, so I just want to make sure that we understand we have it up there. Okay, now we're moving on to another question. East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. There's a serious flooding on I-95 just north of exit 16, especially since Norwalk removed retention pond. How will this project reduce flooding? Merely by reducing impervious surface. And I'll go to the design team for an answer on that. Please state your name and title.
Okay, this is Brett Stark again from BL Companies. As part of the presentation, we talked about the potential or the those who have the idea of experiencing the flooding along I-95 in the vicinity of East Avenue. As mentioned, that flooding is attributable to the existing highway drainage system being undersized. As part of Project 102-295, we will be installing a supplemental drainage system here. That is shown on the attached screen in blue. Give me 1 second to activate the laser pointer here so you can see. So the existing trunk line drainage system in the median is this kind of this black line coming down the center here. It then goes off and works its way down through Mulberry Lane and then out discharges into the Norwalk River down here. We are going to install this new system, again highlighted in blue, that actually is going to take in the majority of the discharge, the stormwater from the corridor. It's going to be discharged through this new system into this underground infiltration system. Again, the water that comes out of there will flow down through this vegetated channel underneath the Yankee Doodle Bridge into a new culvert that will be installed underneath Hendricks Avenue. And actually, we were going to modify we're going to repair and modify the existing outfall into the Norwalk River to accept this new pipe.
Thank you for that explanation. Brett Stark again, liaison engineer with BL Companies for the Connecticut Department of Transportation. We're going to slide into another question now from the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. It's kind of a question. Can you bring up the detour maps? What will stop traffic from going down East Avenue to Route 136? You need to post no trucks on East Avenue, please. Was the comment made? If you give us a second, we'll probably try to have someone answer that from the design team. Please state your name and title.
Dom, this is Brett. Give me 1 moment here. I'm going to be bringing up Google Maps here for 1 second. Sorry. Okay, Dom, thank you, and apologies for the delay to the folks listening and tuning in here. So again, I think it's a little easier to use the Google Maps here to convey what we're talking about in terms of the detour routes here. Again, what we have planned to do for signing of the detours here for this project, for those overnight periods when we're repaving the ramps on Interchange 16, traffic will be directed down to the Interchange 14 ramp here to use Route 1 back into Norwalk as needed to access areas. Same thing with the northbound traffic. We'll ask them to work their way, advance if the northbound off ramp is closed, work their way up through there. On Interchange 17, again, we're talking about using for those ramp closure periods, using the Interchange 18 Sherwood Island connector ramps, again for advanced departure when the southbound off ramp is closed or when the northbound ramp is closed. Regarding the aspect of trucks on East Avenue to 136, again, we are not planning to sign that as a detour route as part of this project.
Great explanation. Thank you very much for that explanation. Brett Stark again with liaison engineer for the Connecticut Department of Transportation. At this time, we appear to be caught up on questions. We're going to give everyone a couple of minutes that if they want to ask another question, they can. We are currently caught up by email. You can do that after this live session at dot102-295@ct.gov or by phone, 860-944-1111. Leave a voicemail message. Just try to say it was for Project 102-295, so it's easier to get to us. At this point, on behalf of the Connecticut Department of Transportation, I'd like to thank everybody for the questions that were provided and for viewing the presentation tonight. And I would like you to have a great evening. Thank you.